everyone. This is the first video on my YouTube channel, The Phase Shift. So, welcome to everybody who is watching this. Thank you for watching this. This is really just a test of sorts to test filming on my iPad. I might get a microphone. Never mind. So, some of you, my Discord pals, might have seen me talking about this book lately, Shrugged by Ayn Rand. So as a test, I decided to do a review on that of sorts. It's a practice run and a test, as I said. This book, it was 1,080 pages long. That includes an introduction as well. It's, yes, very big, very text heavy. Print is quite small, but I managed it. And I started this in January? It was January, or either January this year or December last year. I reckon it was January. And I just finished it about approximately a week or so ago during my uni break. Smashed out the last 400 pages of that during my uni break. It is not the easiest thing to read. A lot of the chapters are quite long, and as you can see, as I said, the pages are very text heavy. So yes, they clearly had to cram it in there to make it sure it wasn't any longer than it was. It's 1,080 pages as it is. It's not the easiest thing to read for a number of reasons, but I really, really enjoyed it. I loved it, and I would recommend this for, well, firstly, if you're into philosophy of any sort, deep things, yes, you'll read this. Why I picked this up is because over December I played the Bioshock trilogy video games on my Switch. Absolutely love them, and they are based on this book, or rather this author, the work of this author Ayn Rand, and her philosophy called objectivism. So because I played the games, I wanted to read the book that inspired them, and so I did, and I really enjoyed it. So if you are a Bioshock fan, just read this. Yes, read that, of course. But as I said though, it's not the easiest thing to read. I'm a massive bookworm, and I don't have a problem with long books, and yet I couldn't read this thing all at once. I was reading other books on the side. That's no issue with the book. The book or the writing. I didn't find it boring. I didn't struggle to engage with it. It just isn't the easiest thing to read. So yeah, but at the same time I also was very excited to read this, so that's another reason why I was reading it at the same time as other books. Yep. So yep, basically this book, it was published in 1957, and it takes place during the 50s, but it's sort of like an alternate version of the world. There's all these business people, industrial tycoons, like the Taggarts, Dagny and James Taggart. They run a railway. There's Hank Rearden, who runs a steel company. There's Ellis Wyatt, who runs an oil company. Francisco d'Anconia, who does copper mining. All these big industrial people, rich people, and they're the heroes of the story, basically, if you think about it. Because it's all based around this alternate philosophy. Normally you might think of these people as greedy dirtbags, and you wouldn't want to support them, you wouldn't want to root for them. In this book, these are the people you want to root for. because basically the tenet objective is that the moral good thing to do is to pursue your own happiness. That's the best thing to do. That's what you prioritize. It doesn't care about altruism. You should basically say only be generous if you want to be generous, if that's in your own interests. Not don't be generous for the sake of being generous. That's not a good reason. It's kind of hard to explain. It goes deeper into it at the back of the book. But yeah, basically it's don't be limited by other people, by society, by what they tell you to do. Do what you want to do. Whether that's serving yourself or serving other people, make sure you're doing it because you want to do it. Don't do it because people are pressuring you, because it's the quote-unquote right thing to do, because it's the altruistic thing to do. No. It's all based around that kind of philosophy. And it's a story, but the book itself is also just a philosophical examination of this philosophy. That sounds like a bit of a tautology. Oof. But yeah, as a result, the book, like the dialogue in the book, it won't sound like you'll be reading it and like, yeah, people don't actually talk like this, but that's not a negative. That's just the way this book's intended to be written, and I absolutely love the writing style in the dialogue, and in everything else in the story. The descriptions I loved. I don't know, I just really love the writing style of this. I definitely want to read more of her work. There's another book she wrote, The Fountainhead, and that was another part of the inspiration for BioShock that sort of started her work into this philosophy thing, and then this was her masterpiece, her magnum opus. So I definitely want to read that. It will get it will go over your head a bit, and that's why I say it's a bit hard to read, and so you've got to read in small chunks, like a chapter a day or half a chapter a day. Some chapters are like 60 pages, there's 30 chapters. Divided, 1,080 pages divided by 30. It's like 36. 30. Yeah, something like 36 pages on average, but that doesn't seem right because a lot of the chapters were longer than that. Some of them were like 60 pages. Yeah. But yeah, it basically comes down to all these business people, and there are all these laws and things that are so getting passed that are really restricting them in stuff they can do, like it's making it hard for them to sell things, and even harder to just produce things. And so you see just the world, or the based America, because that's where it's set, just kind of collapsing and falling apart as a result of all this, because the laws are basically restricting what all these business people can sell or even produce, and if they can't produce stuff, then people can't buy it because it's not there for them to buy. So you see everything's kind of goes out the window, and there's poverty skyrockets, and yeah, the government still keeps passing laws making this hard for business people, and then they all start mysteriously disappearing one by one, and all the businesses themselves are just suddenly shutting down, and for seemingly no reason. The people are all quitting, even though they are just super mega successful and they are really rich, obviously, and so they could totally just stop producing stuff, not worry about all of this, and just live. But the thing is, these people, they're not just greedy business people, they're genuinely passionate about what they do. That's why you care about them and care about seeing them succeed, because, again, they do what they do for themselves. That's the whole point. Not because they want to make a profit, not because they want to serve people. They run railways, make this new metal, run their companies because that's what they want to do. They're genuinely passionate about it. And so, let's say these laws are really hindering their ability to pursue those passions. So, I won't go into any more detail. I do not want to spoil anything about this book. I'll just read the back of it for you. The astounding story of a man who said that he would stop the motor of the world, and did. Tremendous in scope, breathtaking in its suspense, Atlas Shrugged is unlike any other book you have ever read. That is very true. It is a mystery story not about the murder of a man's body, but the murder and rebirth of man's spirit. With this acclaimed work and its immortal query, who is John Galt, Ayn Rand found the perfect artistic form to express her vision of existence. This is the book that has made her not only one of the most popular novelists of modern times, but also one of its most influential and controversial thinkers. This edition of Atlas Shrugged, celebrating the Jewish legacy, blah blah blah. It doesn't really tell you much about the actual plot, but that's totally fine. I didn't really know much about the plot going into it, and that's totally fine. I've told you enough, I think. Maybe even a little bit too much. Yes. So as I said, if you're into philosophy, abstract stuff, or if you've played the BioShock games, this is what inspired those. Just be warned, it's not the easiest thing to read, so if you don't handle long books, you're not going to be having a good time with this bad boy. Yeah. But I love the writing style. I found this a fascinating thing to read, to think about, even though some of the dialogue and arguments went over my head. It was just fun to read. Also, every time I read this, I guess because the paper is so thin, my fingers always came away covered in ink reading this. Oof. Also, it's not in the best condition, and I do take good care of my books. It's just, I guess, again, because it's a paperback, it's a very thick one, with very thin pages. It just got a bit at the bottom there. So maybe try and find a better copy than this one if you can. This one was like a, I don't know, 50th anniversary of the 50th anniversary, or it was some sort of an anniversary edition. It's not a special one, but it's like this edition was published on that, because it had an introduction with some entries from Ayn Rand's journal from when she was writing it. Anyway, I think that's about all I want to say. I'll wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you all soon, hopefully, with a proper video. As I said at the start, this is just a test, a practice run. So thank you for watching. This has been the first video on the phase shift on Thursday the 29th of April 2021. Thank you, and have a good day or night.